Returning to Source, Class 4, Sibling Relationships and Relationality. Hello, I'm Jim Morningstar, your guide through this 9-class journey of returning to source. The topic in this, the fourth in our series, is Sibling Relationships and Relationality. Insights from the fourth level of the spiral dynamics model will help us understand and change punishment-reward relationship patterns that no longer serve us. The fourth level of existence, purposeful or saintly existence. In today's class, we'll look back at an early level of development in our relationships, the fourth level in the spiral dynamics model, the purposeful or saintly. Our intention in this process is to learn what we may be carrying from these older levels in our collective and personal history that could impede our progress, but also what stepping stones they've laid that may help us better understand our route. Establishing reasonable order in a world of seeming chaos is a problem facing humans at the fourth stage of existence. Humans evolving at this stage strive to learn how to live in a world of apparent threat and want. They attempt this principally through finding the rules and prescriptions of some higher order to which the world and their self must submit. Inner peace and ultimate salvation come through avoiding any opposition to this order, suppressing and controlling inner drives, as well as from a strict ordering of the outer world. These are seen as necessary for achieving harmony within this order. Rules tend to be black and white, and only one authority is supreme. At this level, there is a more coordinated functioning between the brainstem and the subcortical forebrain, and the introduction of neocortical input into the patterning of behavior. Another psychological development at this level is a relative abundance of adrenaline in the system, making the individual particularly attuned to aversive stimulation, such as punishment. Abundance of adrenaline makes the avoidance of pain a powerful motivating factor. In this avoidant two-step learning, there seems to be a first stage in which a stimulus is associated with pain, classical conditioning, and a second stage in which a specific response averts the pain and finds reward, operant conditioning. Although this latter response is often complex enough in today's world to suggest higher cortical input. Here, avoiding what is painful is learned first, and reward comes later in conforming to that behavior that successfully averts pain. When this state of consciousness is central, no pain seems to mean no learning. Too much pain produces rigid and most difficult to change learning, and wrongly administered pain, as punishment, seems to leave the person unaffected or to produce negative hostile learning. This system, two-factor learning, is quite ineffective, however, when applied to the impulsive, anger-prone, immediately reward-seeking individual of the previous or heroic level. Taking a child in a survival circumstance off the streets and setting them at a desk and telling them if they do not wiggle for a week, they'll get a gold star does not produce the desired results, no matter how many times you hit them with a ruler, aversive stimulation, the negative saintly level pedagogy. Therapy within level 4 entails more than simple insight. When the values of this level have been violated by giving in to the impulses of immediate drive gratification, sin, of the previous level 3, a state of anticipated pain or punishment ensues. The tension, guilt, is not released until punishment follows, penance. And the, quotes, correct response is strengthened by a positive motivation and action, expiation. Communication of the tension state to another consciousness, confession, is often an important step in this process. Attempts to, quotes, strengthen motivation to do right is a therapeutic aim that has existed for ages. This approach has been incorporated into formal therapies and programs like Alcoholics Anonymous, which takes guilt, confession, and expiation seriously and involve 12 steps of action rather than mere groping for insight, as their proponents have admonished. Pain is a natural and good way built into our body to learn what is detrimental to our wholeness. For example, touching something very hot lets us know not to grab onto it lest we cause severe damage to our tissues. We may then learn to use a tool to contain the fire and get the reward of a warm meal. On the emotional level, feeling the pain of being lied to can help us be more judicious of who and what we believe. When pain is administered to us for, quotes, our own good, it usually comes from another's judgment about what's right or wrong for us. From the heart's perspective, learning naturally from the consequences of our thoughts, words, and deeds is a loving part of how we grow in a friendly universe. From the mind's limited, fear-based perspective, not following the rules makes us a, quotes, bad person who must be taught through consciously directed aversive stimulation, punishment. Indeed, one's actions may seem contrary to the greater good of others. For example, the child who throws rocks at a passing car. We have the right to make that judgment, but we do not have the right to label a person as essentially bad. When we do, we can end up playing God in a hostile, oppressive universe, rather than being God in an inclusive, lovingly corrective universe. Punishment administered from fear is what begets rigid and hostile learning. Individuals may seek breathwork from some degree of limited level 4 motivation. For example, an authority figure said it would be good for me. An ability to delay gratification for later reward is necessary to go through in the therapy process. That is, enduring the sometimes uncomfortable sensations and feelings that come with breakthrough processes. But staying with the process over time takes more personal responsibility than just, I'm supposed to do this because I was told it was good for me. The breathworkee must experience the reward as resulting from their desire to release and their courage to breathe in the face of their fears. The non-ordinary states of consciousness that can happen in breathwork have facilitated breakthroughs from fear and guilt states. These often are translated in religious and or spiritual terms and become quite motivational for people. In other words, the breakthroughs that happen when holding patterns in the breath are released are interpreted through one's prevailing belief systems. For example, shamanistic visions, or gifts from the gods, or through grace from the Almighty, or a neurological systems rewiring, or a collective consciousness shift, and so on. So, take handout 1, two-factor learning and relationships. And in section 1, write 3 ways you learned from the two-factor pain first, reward later model of instructions in your early life. Now, this pain could have been corporal punishment, such as spanking, love withdrawal, like the silent treatment, criticism, embarrassment, threats, or any aversive treatment you experienced. It might also have been, in some instances, a lack of direction or interaction that left you to fend for yourself. Give a personal example for each instance you experienced. In section 2, write your feelings about this treatment as a child. Then, in section 3, write how you sense each of these treatments have affected your current relationships, whether you consider them positive or negative. Now, this learning can be by direct interaction, or it may be by observation. For example, seeing a sibling being punished, or even epigenetically through your parents' or ancestors' experiences. A two-factor belief or behavior is one that may seem right, just, and moral to you, and is fairly black and white. That's just the way it should be. We can give all sorts of justifications for choosing this or that behavior. For example, Questioning your older siblings is not honoring their God-given authority over you. But when it comes right down to it, it seems very difficult to consider other options to the behavior. Now, understand that this is not about blaming those who taught you in this manner. It's just about recognizing which beliefs and behaviors you took on and how they serve you now, such that you can have a more conscious choice over them. Two-factor learning is an important advance in our evolution and corresponded to humans being able to delay gratification and, for example, plant crops now, which is hard work, for reward later, food in the winter. It also posited a higher good than the immediate gratification of taking whatever you wanted, level 3, and respecting the rights of others. This adapt-self system helped advance civilization out of the might makes right, express self, Attila the Hun system which preceded it. Learning from aversive consequences is still a critical step in individual development, and the absence of it can put an individual at a serious disadvantage in society. If, however, we internalize a critical inner parent too rigidly, judging ourselves as a, quote, bad person, we can become seriously inhibited in our creativity and loving expression. So inner balance is the key to using this self-monitoring ability. Do not be overcritical of all your behaviors learned this way. Just note them. If you can, turn off the video and complete sections 1, 2, and 3 of Handout 1, and then come back to the video. Each month, we will do an experiential exercise that highlights the level of conscious evolution we are examining within us. This month, it's the purposeful or saintly level of existence. It's called saintly because the ideal person at this level is one who follows the higher order rules and is righteous. It's important that we use these exercises to bring to consciousness what may be impeding our full potential for the purpose of recovering the frozen energies from the past experiences that may have been overwhelming or traumatic to our nervous system, and preventing us from owning a harmonious balance of inner and outer authority and developing our own moral compass. Exercise 1. We'll work now with an example of the 3 pain first, reward later learning experiences you described in Handout 1, Section 1, and the feelings in Section 2, as well as the results in Section 3. We're going to take you through a self-guided breathwork visualization from the 3 early life behaviors you noted. However, be open to whatever surfaces as you breathe. It could be just sensations, emotions, thoughts, and any other memories than the ones you wrote down. Suggest that whatever comes up is there for the benefit of your intended release or reinforcement. This includes having nothing seemingly happen, which is a clue that part of you is not ready to go there. Okay, get yourself in a relaxed sitting or lying position in which you're warm and comfortably supported and are close enough to turn off the video once you hear all the instructions and allow yourself to continue the breath exercise till you're complete. So stop the video if you need to get situated, then come back. Now, first, have the loving intention to go back to those experiences and feelings you wrote about on Handout 1, Sections 1 and 2, for the purpose of recovering whatever energy may still be awaiting your reintegration. Our purpose is restoring full aliveness and health to your body, mind, and spirit. We'll again use a form of faster than normal breathing through the mouth and releasing on the exhale to initiate a somewhat heightened state of energy, and then do some active expression and movements in order to reprogram behaviors we choose to reprogram. You'll put your attention on your diaphragm and heart area, and breathing through your mouth, take an active inhale, bringing energy from your diaphragm to your heart, and then without pause, exhale from your heart to your diaphragm, not pushing or forcing the exhale. Make sure to relax on it. Keep the inhale and exhale connected without pause, but adjust your pace and volume to what allows you to be energized without overwhelming your system. It may look something like this. We'll do a few minutes of this faster breathing and then do some visualization work. Let's begin. Keep the pace going and let yourself adjust to a faster than normal rhythm that you can easily sustain while I talk. If you need to switch to breathing through your nose, then do so. That's okay. Now continue your cycle of faster than normal breathing. And bring your attention to your heart area. And invite in the first scene you described on Handout 1, Section 1, for the purpose of clearing any energies that need to be brought into alignment with your highest evolution. See if you can make this invitation to all involved in this interaction, even if part of you is wary or skeptical. Know that you have the protection of all your guiding spirits throughout this work. Let the memories and feelings of this scene come to you now, in whatever way it does, and keep your breath moving as you view the scene from a loving observer position. As much as you can, put all the judgments at bay and let the spirit of breath do the healing work you intend. Keep this going now, focusing on releasing any beliefs, behaviors, and feelings that you want out of your psyche. Let yourself voice your feelings about this event in very simple words like, I feel angry, scared, hurt, or glad when this happens. I hereby release. Now say what you want to release and make a releasing gesture. And breathe fully. So again, say, I hereby release whatever you want to release, and just make a releasing gesture. Now say, I hereby embrace, and say some aspect of the incident that you now value. For example, something you learned from it, like I embrace my innocence, knowing that I'm not to blame for Daddy's fear, and make an embracing gesture. Again, say what you embrace and make an embracing gesture. Now breathe with this and feel whatever empowerment comes from taking more charge of this incident from your past. Okay, now I recommend you stop the video in a moment and go through the same process with your other two learning incidents you wrote about in Section 1. Breathe fully, invite the incident into your heart, voice your feelings about it. Release with words and gesture whatever no longer serves you, and then embrace with words and gesture whatever you learned that was useful to you. It's important to do all the steps rather than leave it partially done to ruminate in your psyche and disrupt your nervous system. So turn off the video now and complete the other two incidents. Breathe and release, then come back to the video. Suggest to yourself that whatever happened in this exercise is what you were ready for at this time, and that more realizations about your conditioned behaviors and your life will come as you're ready for them in the time between now and next class. As we become aware of our conditioned behaviors, we can get closer to having more choice and more compassion around them. Sharing with a supportive partner can be very helpful, and the homework breathing we will do till next class will also be useful in this regard. For now, take handout 1 and in section 4, write something of value I take from each incident and a positive behavior I choose to reinforce from what I learned from each incident. Again, turn off the video and come back when complete. Holding you in my heart as fellow travelers on the road home, I send and receive blessings for our circle and all sentient beings. Blessings in light and love.